and welcome. Tonight, Minister of Information Mohammed Idris says the debate over the removal of fuel subsidy is no longer relevant, lightning calls for its reversal to rewinding the clock. Days after commuters endured prolonged gridlock along the Ekiti and Benin-Asaba roads, federal government rolls out measures to ease congestion and improve traffic flow on the affected routes. Civil society groups Fix Nigeria Politics calls on stakeholders to take bold steps to ensure free, fair and credible elections in 2027. And death toll from flash floods in Nepal rises above 380 amid fears of fresh flooding.
And on business news, federal government targets higher local fish production as Minister of Marine and Blue Economy inaugurates committee to boost output and reduce import dependence.
On sports news tonight, President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, steps down amid corruption allegations and disappointing national team's results.
And from the nation's capital, Nigeria police parades 4 medical directors and 3 others of alleged organ harvesting in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the debate over the removal of fuel subsidy is no longer relevant, describing attempts to revisit that decision as an effort to rewind the hands of the clock. He stated this during a courtesy visit to the governor of Taraba State, Abu Kefas, in Jalingo, the state capital, where he also said the removal of fuel subsidy has created the financial headroom for the federal government and sub-national governments to pursue critical developments across different projects. He acknowledged the country's security challenges, saying that President Bola Tinubu remains committed to improving the nation's security.
The removal of subsidy has created enough fiscal headroom for us at the federal government and for those of you at the subnational to embark on very many developmental strides that is repositioning some of these states and making them a lot more viable. So it beats our imagination, Your Excellency, when we hear this debate that some people are contemplating going back, rewinding the hands of clock, going back to where we were. We wonder how possible even that is. The removal of subsidy has created that fiscal headroom for us to embark on infrastructure projects. Every part of this country, there is construction going on. I wonder how that will have been possible if these resources were not there. Your Excellency, look at our students. To date, we have over 1 million, over 1.2 million actually, of our young men and women who are able to go to school simply on account of a flagship project of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Nel Fund project. Now, through that, the federal government is able to pay the tuition of these young men and women, and not only that, to also make sure that they are retained in school by the payment of stipends in upkeep for them to remain in that school.
The governor of Kaduna State and Deputy Director General of the APC Campaign Council, Senator Obasani, says that he is sure that President Bola Tinubu will get more than 70% of the vote in Kaduna State. Speaking on our political program, Politics Today, Governor Sani explains that President Tinubu has a lot to offer to the state, especially the people of southern Kaduna.
Kaduna, just write it down today. Aswaju will get nothing less than between 70 to 80% of the votes, and I'll tell you why. Number one, you see, in Kaduna, we are not like other states. We're highly educated. We don't believe in a politician coming to say, I will do, I will do, I will do. We don't get into that kind of politics. Our people are highly educated, very aware, very knowledgeable. It's not by coincidence that we're the capital of northern Nigeria, and we're most cosmopolitan. As I'm speaking with you, because of what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have done to Kaduna State and Southern Kaduna also in particular, from Senator Sunday Cartoon, who was the one leading the battle against our party then. They have all, as we are speaking, moved to APC. Nobody forced them. But because of what Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu have done,
the federal government has asked the concessionaire handling the Benin-Asaba highway reconstruction to allow the Federal Ministry of Works bring in competent contractors to handle that project, citing lack of capacity on the part of the concessionaire to carry out the work. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, made this appeal at the stakeholders meeting in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Meanwhile, the legal counsel to the concession company, Peterson Fabian, has asked for more time to engage and find a collaborative way forward. Our correspondent Jessica Olubushere reports.
The Minister of Works, David Umahi, convenes a stakeholders meeting at the Edo State Government House, Benin City, on Wednesday. It follows Tuesday's on-site inspection of the Agbo Road section of the 125-kilometer Benin-Asaba highway reconstruction, a concession being handled by the Benin-Asaba Expressway Concession Company, BAI. On screen is an aerial shot of the expressway, taken 2 days before the meeting. The minister lists alleged breaches by the concessionaire, including non-adherence to instructions, use of unqualified staff, removal of government asphalt, and improper channeling of water. He says the ministry will write the independent engineer for measurement of work done, excluding negative work. He also discloses plans to write BAIC to remedy defaults, as well as its plan to serve it an intention to terminate.
To allow the Ministry of Works to bring in competent contractors, because the destruction that caused on the road is beyond their capacity, with no previous experience on road construction, nor enough equipment to tackle this. So we are pleading with you to give us a writing approval to do this.
The Works Minister also suggests options to determination for defaults to BAIC to ensure the project is completed.
It's for all parties to mutually terminate. But will we not exhaust your interests? The third option is that you bring a contractor that has been tested and possibly working in Nigeria, and as we redesign the project, we supervise the project, Minister of Works.
Governor Okpolo describes the work as unsatisfactory and urges the ministry as guarantor to take necessary measures.
What we are seeing now is not what I should be seeing at this point after 16 months. Nothing is done. To me, it's a total waste of resources. These people are not serious about completing this job. And if we continue to talk about them from now till next year, we'll still repeat the same thing.
I'm asking you this because you said there is no default. Yes.
While BAIC CEO Samuel Garamola insists there was no default, the company's legal counsel appeals for more time for engagement.
If you allow us to speak further without having to be conclusive here, please, Honorable Minister, every stakeholder here, do allow us more time to engage. I believe that we have a pathway forward to further collaborate, please.
As the meeting ends, stakeholders, including National Assembly Works Committee Chairman, say the interest of Nigerians must come first and that the recent gridlock on the road must not recur. Jessica Olubusere, Channels Television News.
And to more on roads, meanwhile, vehicular gridlock at the Oye-Lukweju Highway in Ekiti State has significantly eased following the successful completion of emergency palliative work by the federal government. The rapid intervention is coming on the heels of the 48-hour ultimatum issued by the Minister of State for Works during an official site assessment of the failed portion of that road yesterday. Commercial motorists and commuters navigating that route have commended the federal government for the swift response and appealed for the completion of the road. Meanwhile, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency says the palliative work is only a temporary measure to ease the gridlock.
By the grace of God, on Oye Ekiti Road, when we received the call, I tried to communicate with our headquarters, and in response, they give us immediate go-ahead to go and fix the place. And consulted one of our contractors, which in turn also rose to the situation. But as I'm talking now, the road is free and free of traffic holdup.
From infrastructure to security matters, the police in Niger State says it is working to ascertain the total number of persons abducted in some communities in Dakara district in Borgu local government area of the state. Speaking to Channels Television in Mina, the Niger State capital, the spokesperson of the command, Wasiu Abiodun, explains that clearance operation is still ongoing.
Niger, a state that borders Kebbi and Zamfara states in northwest Nigeria and Benin Republic, has come under serious attack from bandits. The latest is the attack on 4 communities in Dakara district of Borgu local government area. The affected communities are Gidanzana, Masaka, Sabungida and Kenya. The attacks led to the abduction of several persons in the communities.
We got report from Borgu local government in New Busa, where it was reported that some armed men attacked some communities within the Kara district of Borgu local government area, which affected about 4 communities. You have communities of Sabun, Gida, Gidanzana, Masaka, and Penya community, where some of these locals in this community were abducted. It was also further reported that during Jumat prayer in Penya Mosque, the worshippers, immediately after the prayer, the mosque was surrounded and some of the worshippers were also abducted.
After the Juma prayers, I got a call from the district head of the area informing me of what happened. 4 communities were affected. While worshippers were observing their Juma prayers, the bandits came and rounded the mosque. We have informed the security agencies of the development, and just yesterday soldiers went on patrol of that place, and inshallah the military is on top of the situation.
The attack prompted action from the military on the orders of President Bola Tinubu, who in a statement issued by his spokesman, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, called for coordinated operation to rescue the victims. Since the turn of the year, there have been at least 5 attacks in Niger State, and most of the attacks have occurred in the same area. They include the Kasuan Daji market raid on January the 3rd at Demo village in Borgu local government area, the invasion of Aguara local government area on February the 1st, the Triple Village Dawn raid in Borgu local government area on February the 14th, the Dakara district attack on August the 21st, and the Gala Palace attack on August the 24th, both in Borgu local government area.
Terrorism we are facing within Niger State has gone out of hand. So we want Mr. President to expedite action. Giving orders are a good one, but when we see action being expedited and this issue of terrorism being nipped in the bud, I think we can be once more happy again.
We are doing everything we need to do. We have deployments in Aguara, we have deployments in Papiri, we have military deployments in some of the local area in those communities. But it's just that you cannot cover every village in this area. It is a very large area. You may not be able to have deployments in all the villages. Nevertheless, we have some of our units on ground, and we have commenced rescue efforts to be able to secure the release and rescue of these victims on hot. This is what we are doing.
While the council officials are assuring residents that calm has returned to the area, security agencies are urging residents to remain calm as efforts are ongoing to rescue their loved ones.
In part 2, after the break, Nigeria police parade 4 medical doctors and 3 others for alleged organ harvesting in Karu, local government area of Nasarawa State. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris says the debate over the removal of fuel subsidy is no longer relevant, likening calls for its reversal to rewinding the clock. And days after commuters endured prolonged gridlock along the Ekiti-Abini-Asaba roads, federal government rolls out measures to ease congestion and improve traffic flow on the affected routes. A civil society group, Fix Nigeria Politics, calls on stakeholders to take bold steps to ensure free, fair and credible elections in 2027. And on the foreign scene, death toll from flash floods in Nepal rises above 380 amid fears of fresh flooding. Civil society organization Fix Nigeria Politics is asking key stakeholders in Nigeria's electoral process to take bold steps towards ensuring free, fair and credible elections come 2027. The executive director of the organization, Mr. Anthony Ubani, says the concerns come amid ongoing discussions on electoral reforms, calling for stronger safeguards around election technology, results management and voter participation. He insists that only an election that reflects the genuine choice of the electorate can strengthen democracy and restore public trust in Nigeria's electoral system.
This dialogue we're having today, as you can see, we're focusing on two key issues: integrity and accountability. The conversation before now has been so much on the 2027 Electoral Act. And we are saying that enough talk about the Electoral Act. It's been signed into law. Let us see what are those things that all of us as stakeholders in this country can do from now to the 2027 elections to ensure that that election turns out right. It is credible, it is free, it is fair, and there's accountability. Because, and let me make this final point, the Electoral Act alone, I don't care how excellent it is, does not give you a good election. The actions of the actors, INEC, security agencies, political parties, civil society organizations, citizens, etc., etc. The actions of these different stakeholders will determine whether the election is free, is fair, is credible. And I've just made the point that the citizens now should make sure that that election went the way they wanted it to go. And that is what elections should be.
We shift gears now. Let's head to the nation's capital, Abuja, where Terry Kumi is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Anne. The Niger Police Force has announced the arrest of 4 medical doctors for alleged organ harvesting and other unethical medical practices in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State. Speaking in Abuja while parading the suspects, the Force Public Relations Officer, Mr. Aniete Aniedu, is accusing the doctors and other accomplices for allegedly engaging in soliciting for persons who trade their kidneys for money.
It appears to be the end of the road for these medical doctors and their accomplices who are alleged to be involved in organ trading and harvesting. The Force Public Relations Officer speaks on the arrest, which includes 4 medical doctors who serve as intermediaries between alleged donors and the buyers.
At about 1800 hours, operatives of the FID Special Tactical Squad, acting on credible intelligence, carried out a sting operation at Outer Balefi in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State, which led to the arrest of 4 suspects. During interrogation, Emmanuel Ode confessed to recruiting victims under false pretenses.
The commander of the Force Intelligence Department Special Tactical Squad explains the roles of the suspect in the organ harvesting business.
Interesting to know, this was a victim 2022, but now he's not a suspect. He's not the one recruiting people, other people, to come and sell their kidney. He sold his own 2022 with the sum of 7 million. He is the one that lured this one and the Samuel Ezekiel, who is not here.
A victim who is now a suspect admits selling his kidney for 7 million naira, while the renal transplant consultant claims he has conducted only 5 surgeries since January to date with the consent of the donors.
It's my friend that deceived me. His name is Emmanuel Ode. So he deceived me that we are going to for a hospital because I don't know what, because until he told me I would just do what he asked me to do. So after 2 days, Emmanuel now called him again, then he now gave me the phone that I should speak to him. So after I speak to him, then he now told us that he have gotten someone that might kidney match with him, that we should come the next day. Therefore, then we now went to the hospital, Wellington Clinic. Then we now, in the night, then we now signed there at the hospital. After we signed, then later in the night, around 10 to 11, they now come and give us money in dollar.
For the kidney transplant, usually we tell them, first and foremost, we will wish that you get a relative. If you can convince any of your relatives to come in for this transplant, that will be the ideal. Like this year, we have done 5 cases, and so just one person. Surgery was successful, but I think about 3 months after transplant, he developed complications from. It's also diabetic, complications of diabetes, and he passed on.
As the suspects await their day in court, the police declares that organ harvest remains a crime in Nigeria.
Our President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Mr. Abel Enitan as the new head of civil service of the Federation. A brief swearing-in ceremony took place at the State House, Abuja, which had in attendance the former head of civil service, Mrs. Didi Walson-Jock, her husband, the wife of the new head of service, the permanent secretary, State House, and other government officials. Afterwards, at the Federal Secretariat, the former head of the civil service handed over the reins of the Federal Civil Service to her successor, with a charge to sustain the gains recorded in public service delivery. Meanwhile, the new head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mr. Abel Enitan, has pledged to build on the gains already achieved and reinforce a more effective federal civil service. Let's go to Kaduna State now, where the government has graduated 4,050 youths from the state-owned Institute of Vocational Training and Skill Development as part of efforts to develop local skills, promote self-reliance, and create jobs. Speaking at a graduation ceremony in Rigachikun, Igabi local government area, Governor Basani announced 810 million naira in starter support for the graduates to enable them begin their journey into self-reliance.
In Kaduna, 4,050 young men and women have graduated from the State Institute of Vocational Training and Skill Development. The pioneer graduates enrolled in 2025 were trained in trades including plumbing, electrical installation, welding, solar technology, fashion design, catering, auto mechatronics, and computer repairs.
Our administration has continued to place the empowerment of our people, particularly our young people, at the heart of its development agenda. By deliberately equipping our young people, particularly disadvantaged youth, women and persons with disabilities, with relevant and marketable skills, we are transforming vulnerability into opportunity, dependence into self-reliance, and potential into productivity.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, commends Kaduna State for investing in vocational education, describing skills development as key to tackling youth unemployment and strengthening the economy.
Across 3 campuses, 4,050 young men and women are graduating today. They arrived with determination, ambition, and willingness to learn. They live with a national skills qualification, a valuable trade, and the confidence to build a future anywhere in Nigeria.
For the graduates, the training offers an opportunity to turn their skills into jobs and businesses.
Today is not just about celebrating the 4,050 graduates here at Kaduna at Kia VTSD. It is a celebration of tireless hard work, mastered craftsmanship, and new chapter. We begin in actively contributing to Kaduna economic and industrial growth from knowledge to impact. That is our solemn promise. To my fellow graduates, we have done it. We are the new great generation of skilled professionals, fully equipped and ready to take the next step.
Governor Uba Sani reaffirms his administration's commitment to human capital development and youth empowerment, while appreciating President Bola Tinubu for the federal government's support.
We understood that development cannot be reduced to just roads, bridges, and buildings. Infrastructure is important, but its ultimate purpose is to enlarge human possibility. Sustainable development, therefore, requires both the physical foundations of prosperity and the human capabilities that make the prosperity enduring.
The governor also presents 810 million naira in starter packs to help the graduates establish businesses, while outstanding trainees receive awards. The state government says the 4,050 graduates are the first batch, with plans to train and graduate 32,000 young people annually. The initiative is aimed at building a skilled, self-reliant, and economically productive population.
Well, still to come on the news at 10, federal government targets higher local fish production as Marine and Blue Economy Ministry inaugurates committee to boost output and reduce import dependence. That's on Business News, so stay with us. Well, welcome back to the news at 10. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery's Free Petroleum Products Delivery Initiative is taking effect in Rivers State, with independent marketers receiving products without bearing the cost of transporting them from the refinery. Tankers arrived at the Request oil and gas filling station in Port Harcourt with petroleum product under the initiative, with the station management highlighting the impact on its operations and sales. Our correspondent Deborah Miefibrasima reports.
The arrival of these tankers at the Request Oil and Gas Artillery Filling Station, Port Harcourt, River State, signals another delivery of petroleum products from the Dangote refinery. The initiative is designed to take products closer to independent marketers while eliminating the cost of transporting them over long distances. The products are received at the station and measured before being dispensed to customers. The station manager explained that measures are in place to guard against tampering during delivery.
There is nothing like shortage. Always go straight to the point. So they are we are very proud of them. And they keep on. There is nothing like, maybe because they promise us that they are going to give us free delivery, maybe the thing will short or the product quality will reduce. No, everything there is intact. It's as they said to the way, that's how we receive it. And the product, we are the one opening it, because there is one security lock that they give us. I'm the one that always receive the password and open the thing here. Their drivers are professionals.
There's been an increase. For the management of Request Oil and Gas, buying directly from Dangote refinery has provided a distinct advantage.
It has impacted significantly on our business since the initiative started, there's been an increase in competition in the downstream sector. And this has given us an edge in terms of pricing and availability of products. Our pricing are top-notch because we sell the lowest anywhere because of the initiative. And in turn, customers are encouraged to buy from us. No complaints about the quality of Dangote products. It sells itself, the brand sells itself. As long as there's Dangote products here, customers want to come and buy from us, and that has increased our sales.
Motorists buying petrol also share their experiences regarding pricing and product quality.
The quality is always okay. It's always nice.
I've never had any issues when it comes to fuel.
You only buy fuel from Request here. And this is a place you can come, you buy quality, you get the quantity you bargain for, and then you drive your car at ease. I calculate how many liters I drive per kilometer. So, and when I calculate it, it gives me exactly what it should be. And I know the secret is Dangote.
With free delivery already effective in Lagos and Rivers states, Dangote Refinery said the service will be expanded to include Kano, Imo, Anambra, and Nasarawa states.
In the words of those who buy fuel from this filling station, they say the product is good and the price is competitive enough. From Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, Deborah Mia Fiberesima, Channels Television News.
That's all from the nation's capital. Back to Lagos for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Terry. And President Bola Tinubu has applauded the resolve of state governors to take immediate measures to bring down the cost of transportation in their states, with a strong focus on leveraging the cost and benefits of CNG and electric vehicles. In a post on his X handle, President Tinubu says that following his meeting with the Governors Forum, quote, "We have agreed to set up a joint federal and state committee to begin implementing these measures immediately. A vehicle running on CNG spends 60 to 80% less on fuel than one running on petrol. Intrastate transport is where Nigerians feel the cost most directly, and it is where the states hold the levers. I am encouraged that our governors are moving to bring these benefits closer to the people they serve." To company news now, Zenith Bank is renewing its push to deepen Nigeria's non-oil export earnings as it hosted industry players, regulators and entrepreneurs to its annual International Trade Seminar on non-oil export. The 10th edition of the Dialogue Series explored fresh strategies to scale Nigerian export capacity beyond oil, as the bank highlighted its role in financing, mentoring and de-risking non-oil export ventures nationwide.
As Nigeria seeks to diversify beyond oil revenue, non-oil exports is gaining increased attention. The 10th Zenith Bank International Trade Seminar, held virtually, explores ways to unlock value across the export chain and help Nigerian businesses compete globally.
We follow our customers' business.
In her welcome address, Zenith Bank's Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Daura Umeoji, highlights the company's continued support for non-oil exporters through targeted financing, capacity building, and advisory services.
We have various products like our Zero to Hero export program, which has introduced a lot of first-time exporters to the practical business of exporting, from documentation to product sourcing, finding buyers and securing finance. According to Nigerian Export Promotion Council, in 2025, Zenith Bank processed 32.31% of all NXPs in Nigeria. This position has really made Zenith to be the #1 NXP processing bank in Nigerian banking industry. For us as a Zenith Bank, we will continue to support and provide financing to businesses to enable them deepen on this value chain in this non-oil sector segment.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, outlines government policies aimed at boosting competitiveness and strengthening Nigeria's position in global trade.
NEPC delivered 728 training programs to more than 96,000 participants last year and supported 210 SMEs with fully funded international certifications. These are not administrative statistics. They are the building blocks that allow Nigerian businesses to move from informal or occasional exports into higher value, more sophisticated supply chains.
Guest speakers examine practical pathways to value creation, including product quality, certification, regional trade agreements, and modern logistics.
We must give the Pan-African payment and settlement system the volume and the political backing it needs to become the default rather than the exception.
The agricultural base of Nigeria, the manufacturing sector, the financial technology sector, and the services sector that the country possesses position the private sector of Nigeria driver of intra-Africa trade.
every new system has a learning curve.
Panel sessions focus on regulatory reforms, port efficiency, trade enabling infrastructure, and technology as key drivers of export growth.
MTN Nigeria is marking 25 years of operations in the country with a renewed focus on local content, capacity building, and shared economic growth. At the August Breakfast Forum in the Nigeria South Africa Chamber of Commerce in Lagos, business leaders are examining how sustained investment as Nigerian talent, suppliers, and technology can help strengthen the economy. For 25 years, MTN Nigeria's growth has been closely tied to indigenous businesses across various sectors of the Nigerian economy. Under the theme, Building Local Content Together, 25 years of shared growth, the August Breakfast Forum for the Nigeria South Africa Chamber of Commerce brought together business leaders and key stakeholders. The gathering provided a platform to reflect on how access to opportunities and long-term investments in local capacity have shaped Nigerian businesses.
As we celebrate MTN's 25th anniversary, let us look ahead to the next 25 years. Let us network, identify opportunities, collaborate, forge partnerships, and take actions that can strengthen local content and create shared and sustained growth.
The thrust of the presentation was to show how many partnerships we built along the ecosystem and how those businesses have thrived, and also showed from inception how much we spent on local procurement to what we're doing now. Approximately we're doing 62% local procurement, and we're saying, okay, how much of that money is still left in the economy to empower future businesses.
For industry leaders, the central message remains clear. Local content must go beyond merely protecting indigenous businesses from foreign competition.
Scaling requires, a larger team, more qualified. It means a better focused training for your people. So at the end of the day, in upscaling to be able to manage the MTN business, you acquire standards, you acquire processes that remain a part of your business.
I think that the discussion this morning moves beyond talking about deepening the local content policy and empowering Nigerian organizations to examining the role that MTN Nigeria has played in deepening the success and sustainability of Nigerian organizations.
On behalf of the Nigeria South Africa Chamber of Commerce, it is my great pleasure to present this plaque, this appreciation plaque.
A plaque of appreciation was also presented to MTN Nigeria's Chief Financial Officer, Modupe Kadri. As MTN Nigeria celebrates a quarter century of operations, the forum shifted its focus beyond past achievements, closing with a call for stronger, more sustainable local partnerships. We'll continue in the world of business. Let's join Will Ebong for more. Thank you, Anne. From tech to fishery, the federal government is stepping up efforts to boost fish production and reduce Nigeria's dependence on imports. And the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboye Gawetola, has inaugurated a technical committee to draw up a practical plan for expanding the country's fisheries and aquaculture sector. The minister identifies high feed costs, limited access to quality fish seed, inadequate financing, post-harvest losses, and weak storage facilities as major constraints to production. He says the committee will review existing recommendations and identify priority actions, funding options, and opportunities for private sector investment. The committee has 8 weeks to submit its report with the goal of increasing fish production, creating jobs, and strengthening food security. And the Nigerian Economic Summit Group is preaching growth that works, delivering job productivity as it prepares for its 32nd summit. The Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tayo Aduloji, who was on our Business Incorporated program, believes that while the country has achieved macro stability, the next level is driving productivity and microeconomic growth.
So Nigeria does not have today what you might call a macro stability challenge. We have a conversion challenge, right? How do you convert that macro stability you now have gained into productive jobs, into sectors that can grow faster than the population growth rate, into gross output productivity, especially in sectors like agriculture, manufacturing, and how can you attract investments to drive that growth? So the conversion reforms are the key. Conversion reforms from stability to accelerating growth points to the work that now needs to be done. Yeah, we've already won on that. The macro dance is over, right? It was done months ago. It has had its effect. If you want to sustain that growth and increase it, we now need to shift to conversion reforms, because conversion reforms is what converts your macro into firm performance, into market performance, into wallet performance that Nigerians can feel.
Now we head to the domestic equities markets, which rebounded today with the all-share index gaining 0.2% to close at 239,156 points. Now the recovery breaks an 11-session losing streak. Here's Nijomekwa with more details.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stock market report. Well, we have a reversal recovery at the market today. After 3 consecutive red colors, at least we do have a green today. Investors brought in 327 billion naira back into the market out of all they've been taking. So the market cap is at 154.473 trillion, and the all share is green, and we've recovered back to that 239,000 level. So let's look at the figures, and then we would see those who have driven this, the big guys in banking. Remember, we did talk about that wholesale transaction on First Holdco. That has turned it back to the profit side, and so we see it today, 4.675% in the green. UBA also green, GTCO also green, AccessCo as well as any. These are the guys who drove that, and then we see that reflecting in the counters. And I believe it's just the banking counter that was up today, 1.58% because of the big guys. Consumers lost to 0.2. Nestle, Nigerian Breweries, International Breweries, profit-taking all over, and for oil and gas also. Aradel is back in the news, but it's profit-taking, so, but not so much. That's why the number is not so low, but it's so good to hear the bull again.
Well, thank you, Ini. Let's check out the closing numbers for other major stock markets now. That's business news. I'm Will Ibong. Is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Will. An outsider shows rescuers in Nepal and Tibet are searching for survivors after Wednesday's flash flood destroyed homes, swamped roads, and swept away bridges. The death toll has risen to 389 amid fears of more impending floods. The U.S. Geological Survey says the glacial collapse and debris flow triggered that flood. Let's join Simon Pusey with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Rescuers are searching for survivors after a massive flash flood on the Nepal-Tibet border destroyed homes, swamped roads and swept away bridges. More than 900 people are missing and at least 359 have died in Nepal. More extraordinary videos have emerged of the moments the floodwaters hit. Here, a village being crushed as floodwaters slam into its side. Earlier, this dam holding water from a man-made lake broke apart as construction workers flee. And here, footage from the ground as more workers run for their lives.
Oh my God.
It's expected the death toll will rise a lot more as the scale of the destruction emerges.
This is a very critical situation and something that's never seen before. Myself observed probably multiple disasters, one being the recent earthquake in 2015 that triggered multiple landslides. But this is a unique in itself. There are multiple evidences emerging. We do not have conclusion yet. But this looks like a mixture of the ice block getting detached from the mountain over 7,000 meters in Nepal-Tibet border and accompanied by rockslide then damming the river, which is Lende Khola River near Rasogari and Tibet border. Then that's the water getting accumulated, clogged, and all of a sudden getting out.
Convicted Bosnian-Serbian war criminal Ratko Mladic has died in a UN prison at The Hague, aged 84. News of his death was confirmed by a UN official. Mladic was jailed for life in 2017 for genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity during the wars in the former Yugoslavia between 1992 and 1995. After the Bosnian War, Mladic went on the run for 16 years until he was finally tracked down in rural Serbia in 2011 and put on trial at The Hague. The sentence for the man known as the Butcher of Bosnia was upheld on appeal in 2021. He was being given palliative care in the hospital of the UN jail at The Hague, where he died. 2 people have been killed and 10 people injured after a car crashed into a group of people near a train station in northern France. A male suspect was later arrested after local authorities launched a major emergency response in Caen in the Normandy region. 6 of those injured are in a critical condition, with 3 more having minor injuries. The incident took place near a bar, with local media reporting that a fight had broken out before it took place. King Harald V of Norway is in an extremely serious condition in hospital, the country's royal household has said. His wife, Queen Sonja, and his son, Crown Prince Haakon, have cancelled all royal engagements and have gathered at his bedside at Oslo University Hospital with other members of the royal family. The 89-year-old has been in hospital for over a week receiving treatment for a rare blood condition. Having been on the throne since 1991, King Harald is Europe's oldest head of state. At least 12 people have been killed and dozens injured as wildfires burn through large swathes of northern Algeria. At least 54 people have suffered burn injuries, with at least 6 of them being treated in intensive care. The deaths come as North Africa swelters under a severe heat wave, with Tunisia and Algeria particularly affected. Emmanuel Nchimbi has been expelled from Tanzania's ruling CCM party for indiscipline following his decision earlier this week to resign as the country's vice president after 10 months in the job. The 54-year-old made some controversial remarks in recent weeks, including urging Tanzanians to fight for a new constitution, pointing to a possible fallout with President Samia Suluhu Hassan. He was Samia's running mate in last October's disputed presidential election, which saw hundreds killed in post-poll unrest. And the 65th German Finger Wrestling Championships have taken place in Bavaria, where around 150 competitors linked middle fingers through a leather loop and tried to haul each other across a table. Senior champion Ferdinand Seitz described the pain as excruciating. The tradition dates back to the Alpine region and still draws big crowds each year. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News.
President Bola Tinubu has directed a comprehensive reform of Nigerian football to overcome repeated failures to qualify for major regional, continental and world tournaments. The president says, and I quote, the reform must respond to a long-standing need to strengthen governance, administration, stakeholder representation, development pathway, domestic competitions and accountability across Nigerian football. End of quote. The president has directed the chairman of the National Sports Commission to work with the NFF Secretariat and relevant football stakeholders to ensure continuity in essential football administration and facilitate a broad consultative reform process. The process will include appropriate engagement with FIFA and CAF while safeguarding Nigeria's obligation within the international football framework. Ibrahim Guso's announcement to step down as president of the Nigerian Football Federation has brought clarity to days of speculation over the future of the leadership of the country's football ruling house. The 62-year-old and his board have faced intense pressure following a string of disappointing results recorded by Nigeria's national teams.
I want to tell you, I decided to resign my position as the president of NFF, and then I advised my board members, I informed them, and I advised them, anybody that will follow me should also resign.
Ibrahim Guso's exit did not come as a surprise to keen followers of Nigerian football, particularly after the Super Falcons missed the FIFA Women's World Cup for the first time since the year 1991. The Super Eagles' failure to qualify for this year's FIFA World Cup further piled pressure on his administration, eventually forcing him to throw in the towel. On the flip side, the Federation under Guso recorded some successes, particularly in reforming the domestic leagues, attracting increased corporate sponsorship and investment into Nigerian football. Football stakeholders have welcomed the development, while calling for a broader overhaul of the NFF.
That place needs to be liberated. That's why I'm calling up FIFA, CAF, the NSC, and the NFF. They have to get it right. Because what they tell people is that government is interfering. How now? Tell me. Government is not interfering. You are the one that is interfering, that sees government as an interference. They make the laws and oversight them. You don't recognize them. So please, if you're not going to do 15 elections, whether you call it normalization, I said amend the status and accommodate everybody.
We need to go back to the drawing board, take cue from other countries, other federations on what they are doing. And we can do that because we are not short of talent. We have the talent. We just have to ensure that our governance is more transparent. Things are done properly to favor the game and to favor the talents that we have.
What I believe is that they do not even let those who care about sports in Nigeria to get to that position. And I feel that's the biggest problem we have. If those who care about sports can actually get into positions where they can show that love, I think it will change. So we just have people who are interested in their pockets.
Ibrahim Guso's resignation is also expected to trigger a possible postponement of the NFF elections, currently slated for September the 27th in Lafia, Nasarawa State. His tenure leaves behind a legacy that underscores both the potential and the immense volatility of managing Nigerian football.
And UEFA is preparing criminal legal proceedings against FIFA President Gianni Infantino over the now scrapped plan to sell off stakes in the World Cup and its other competitions to private investors. An application has been made by European football's governing body requesting access to evidence and documents for use in proceedings in Switzerland against the embattled president himself, who UEFA accuses of criminal mismanagement. That's sports. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris says the debate over the removal of fuel subsidies is no longer relevant, likening calls for its reversal to rewinding the clock. And days after commuters endured prolonged gridlock along the Ekiti and Benin-Asaba roads, federal government has rolled out measures to ease congestion and improve traffic flow on the affected routes. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawode. Good night and please stay safe.